Macmillan Audio presents The Bear Trap by Paul Doiron. Read for you by Henry Leyva. The wind moved across the surface of the lake, like breath upon a mirror. In the stern of the canoe, Charley Stevens dipped a paddle to bring us around again over a submerged field of weeds. We were fishing for early-season pike. Charley was a retired Maine game warden, 30 years in the service, and the best woodsman I'd ever met. The evening before, I'd happened to remark that I'd never caught a northern pike on a fly rod before. Charley had sat upright in his chair, as if the notion offended his sensibilities, and said I needed remedial schooling if I was going to have any future at all in the warden's service. It was my first year on the job, and every day I was learning how little I actually knew about my new profession. And so, here we were at dawn, on a distant body of water whose name was unfamiliar to me. "How do you know this place, anyway?" I asked. "Oh, this was my first district when I was a new warden back from the war." The canoe rocked gently, almost like a cradle. "'Course it's changed a lot since those days." I waited for him to go on, but he pressed his lips together and squinted across the lake toward a mist-blurred line of trees. In my experience, retired wardens loved nothing more than to tell tales about their escapades in the North Woods. I was always having my gullibility tested by some gray-haired joker who believed the point of spinning yarns was to see how many lies he could pass off as the truth. Charley's approach to storytelling was to casually mention some brush with death he'd had as if it were a humdrum matter of no particular interest. That very morning, on the drive over, I was shocked to hear him let slip that he'd spent months in Vietnam as a prisoner in the Hanoi Hilton, in the same cell block as John McCain. I wanted to believe the old geezer, but I had been raised a skeptic. I reeled in my line. "How has it changed?" He raised the dripping paddle toward a point of land where the pines had been cleared to make way for a cedar shingle mansion. "Do you see that monstrosity of a domicile? There used to be a boys' summer camp there. I don't know how many nights I spent staked out in the pucka brush trying to nab that damned hermit who kept robbing the place." "Wait," I said. "What hermit?" He frowned. "I thought you wanted to hook a pike." "I do." "I can't believe you didn't hear about it in the warden school, but I guess it's ancient history to the current generation. Come on, Charley, tell me." He sighed, his breath shimmering in the chilly air. Then he set the paddle across his knees and nodded his head in the direction of the trapper's basket at my feet. "Pour me a cup of coffee from that thermos. I bet it's still hot." Charley's field training officer was a chain-smoking ex-Marine by the name of Nash. He was a veteran of Peleliu and Okinawa, who said he could no longer recognize the country he had fought for in this land of psychedelic rock and long-haired hippies. Sergeant Nash believed the men of Charley's generation were soft. Why else were they getting their asses handed to them by a bunch of yellow midgets in black pajamas? And he did nothing to hide his cynicism. When Charley showed up on his first day of work, not wearing his service revolver, Sergeant Nash threatened to write him up for dereliction of duty. Charley explained that he didn't think Maine game wardens needed to go everywhere armed. Some situations called for wearing a gun, and others didn't. Mostly being an effective.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?